Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. I'm Dr. Brian Roadhouse with Regeneration Nation. So this is the long version of the peripheral neuropathy webinar. We have a condensed version. They are both recorded, so if you like to share this with your friends or family members, you can call our office at 918-481-2772, or you can go to our website, footpaintulsa.com. So anyway, that's me doing the webinar in my office. I'm also the co-author of this book, Stem Cell Expert Secrets Exposed, the Ultimate Guide Before You Decide. We're conveniently located on the first floor of the Kelly Medical Building. So if you've ever been in the Kelly Medical Building, you had to walk by, if you parked in the parking garage, you have to walk by our office, which is across from the Kelly Snack Shop. And also you had to walk in front of our office to go to the elevators. So anyway, that's our medical director, Dr. Scott Johnson. He's an anesthesiologist. He used to inject corticosteroids into patients' knees, and now he injects stem cells, and he's in charge of the stem cell program. And stem cells, work good for neuropathy, and so do exosomes, but they are expensive. And so we've got a new protocol that I think you're going to like that's covered by insurance. So anyway, let's get going. This is Casey Reamer. She's our nurse practitioner, and this is Angela Cook. They both do the evaluations, the examinations, the testing, and then setting up the treatment protocols for the peripheral neuropathy program. So anyway, if you have peripheral neuropathy and you've tried, several different treatments, most of our patients have tried 8 to 12 treatments before they come to see us, and they're getting excellent results. So what is neuropathy? It's damage to or disease affecting the nerves. It can be associated with the feet, legs, arms, hands, neck, back. It usually is more common in the feet, and then it can migrate up into the legs. If you've had neuropathy for quite some time, if you think back, you're probably going to remember that it started in the bottom of your big toe. It can start anywhere, but most commonly it starts in the bottom of your big toe. You can have it in your hands and feet, and if you have it in your hands and feet, it's called polyneuropathy. So if you have neuropathy in your hands, just imagine how bad it'd be if you had it in your hands and feet, or vice versa. It's debilitating. It can ruin your life, and it just makes it where a lot of people have given up hope, and up until now, you didn't have much hope, but you're going to see watching this webinar that there's hope, and you're going to do fantastic if you are a candidate. How to get lasting relief from pain, numbness, burning, and cramping without drugs or surgery. We're going to be sharing that in the webinar. How many of you would like 60 to 100% improvement? Almost everyone here that's listening probably would say, yes, I want that. We've had a lot of patients come and go, look, I'd be happy just to have 50% improvement. But it's just human nature. Once you get 50%, you want more, and that's okay. But we're getting really good results. So experience any numbness? Numbness is a real problem because it makes you a fall risk. You can't feel the bottom of your feet. The nerve fibers that are affected are the kinesthetic, and those are the ones, the kinesthetic nerve fibers are the ones that tell your brain where your feet are. So, when you're walking up the stairs and you catch your toe, or you're walking at night and you stub your toe, or there's a cord on the carpet or on the floor, and you think you got your foot up high enough and you didn't, you catch the cord, that's all neuropathy. One of the symptoms. The other one is walking around like you're walking on marbles. Some people feel like you're getting stuck with pins and needles, and that's the prickling pain. Some people feel like they're walking on clouds like marshmallows, but one of our patients early on described it as they're wearing shoes and they feel like their socks are wadded up in their shoes, but they're not wearing socks. And so whenever we say that and people have this symptom, they go, that's exactly what it is. But these are all signs of neuropathy, along with burning pain, which can be very painful. There's sharp electrical pains. Those can be painful. And there's burning pain that's painful. And there's prickling pain. All those are different symptoms. Are experiencing hand pain, because if you have symptoms in your hand, the nerves get inflamed and they cause the joints in your hand and the muscles and tendons to inflame and cause hand pain. Are experiencing back pain. A lot of people go and they have treatment for back or neck, and they the treatment isn't successful, and it can be associated to peripheral neuropathy. So who is experiencing joint pain? So let's say that you have neuropathy in your feet and it's there for a while. You'll notice that your feet are going to swell. If you're wearing socks, you might have a little indentation where the sock is, the top of it, whether you're wearing calf size or if you're wearing little golfer socks. But it can migrate up into the leg, and then your leg is swollen, then goes to your knees, and it can go to every joint in your body if you've had neuropathy for a couple of years, because it does migrate to other joints. A lot of people think it's arthritis, and it probably is, but neuropathy and the inflammation can make your arthritis pain worse than what it is, and a lot of our patients have gotten a lot of relief with our program. Are you tired of taking medications? Medicare released a study that said that people over the age of 65 experience different symptoms, and they go to doctors and they get on average of 18 new prescriptions per year, all have side effects. Wouldn't it be nice to find a treatment that doesn't need drugs so you don't have to add that and have any of the side effects? Well, we have something for you. You'll find out in this webinar. Most commonly prescribed neuropathy medications are Neurontin. If you see that thin red line, it's also called gabapentin. It's an anti-seizure medication, so it slows down your brain so you don't feel your feet. The unfortunate thing is it does not stop the progression of the condition if it does work. And we've had patients that said it didn't work. We had other patients that said it worked. And then we had patients that said it worked and then it didn't work. They had to go back to their doctor and they had to raise the milligrams up from 300 milligrams every 4 hours to 600 milligrams every 4 hours. And the one problem with this medication is it does slow down your brain so you don't feel your feet, which most people that have peripheral neuropathy are 50 plus crowd. So the last thing they need is a medication that's going to slow down your brain. Patients have said that while they were taking it, they felt like they had brain fog. Their memory wasn't as good. They'd walk into a room and couldn't remember what they were in there for, and said, I had that before, but it was a lot worse once I was taking the medication. And when I quit taking the medication, my memory went back to what it was before. So anyway, the other medication that's really common is Lyrica. It's also an anti-seizure medication. Same thing, it slows down your brain so you don't feel your feet. It does not stop the progression. But I get it. When you have these type of symptoms and you're up at night and you can't sleep, just to keep your sanity, you're going to take something like this. But it's not good for you in the long run. And the other thing is that when patients have neuropathy, it affects every phase of their life. Maybe not in the beginning, but it progresses and gets worse. So when you're taking this medication, are you wondering at all that I'm taking an anti-seizure medication and I don't have seizures? Do you know how they are allowed to do that? Let's say that you have seizures and you go see your doctor, they do tests and everything, and then they put you on this medication. Then you go back for your recheck after taking the medication for, say, 30 days. You go back in there and they go, well, how are your seizures? Oh, man, they're doing great. Not having any seizures anymore. They go, good. It's under control. Continue taking the medication the rest of your life. Then what they're going to say is, can you fill out this little form here? And when you fill out this form, they're going to ask a bunch of questions about your seizures, how it affected you, all this stuff. But they're also going to say, hey, do you have migraines? Do you have carpal tunnel? Do you have sciatica? Do you have plantar fasciitis? Do you have peripheral neuropathy? And if you say yes to those, then they're going to ask you, well, were those symptoms improved while you're taking your anti-seizure medication? And if enough people say that it was improved, then they can prescribe it for that condition. That's how they prescribe peripheral neuropathy. But it's an anti-seizure medication, and it does not stop the progression. So anyway, what are the 7 most common warning signs of peripheral neuropathy? This confuses a lot of people and a lot of doctors, a lot of family doctors that don't take care of a lot of patients that have neuropathy. But these are the common symptoms. And so if you were to go to WebMD and say, I have these symptoms, I'm wondering if I have peripheral neuropathy, all these symptoms are going to come up, and they're a little bit confusing. And the reason for it is each one of these 7 symptoms, well, prickling and tingling is extra too, so there's actually 8 of them. But each one of those is carried inside the nerve in certain nerve fibers. So it is actually possible for you to have peripheral neuropathy and only have numbness, or only have burning pain, or only have balance problems and falling. Now, some people have more than one. They could have 2 or 3. And some unfortunate people actually have all 7. Usually it's from chemo-induced neuropathy or maybe diabetic neuropathy because there's more damage done. But anyway, I hope you understand now that you could just have cramping and it could be peripheral neuropathy because only the fibers that are damaged are going to cause symptoms. Causes of peripheral neuropathy, idiopathic, which means they really don't know. Most commonly, it's capillary fragility, and that is the capillaries have to deliver blood to the nerves in your feet or your hands, and when they damage, they prune off, and they can't deliver. So the pipeline that delivers oxygen and glucose, which are the nutrients that your nerves need, can't get there. And so your nerves start screaming, and they start screaming in whatever fibers are damaged now. Capillary fragility can be caused by vitamin C deficiency. That's about 60% of the cases. 30% are diabetic, so most people think, well, I can't have neuropathy because I don't have diabetes. That's not true. Only 30% of people that have neuropathy have diabetes. So that means 70% of the people that have diabetes are not going to have neuropathy also. Chemotherapy, 10%, and those are the tough cases because the nerves get fried with chemotherapy and sometimes with radiation if they have radiation, but we get good results with those type 2. And many people have taken the medication and they didn't get any results, and they've been told nothing can be done and you just have to live with it, which was true up until just recently, and I'll be sharing that with you in a moment. So anyway, here's the good news. National Institute of Health says peripheral neuropathy peripheral nerves have the ability to regenerate as long as the underlying nerve cell has not been killed. That means as long as the nerve cell is not killed, and just time does that. The longer that you have it, the more chance the nerve is killed. And we get great results, but it is really, truly frustrating when we have to tell a patient that, I'm sorry, your nerve cells are killed, and you're not a candidate. It's too far gone. We can't help you. So anyway, make sure to get in quick so this doesn't happen. How you can get relief? Well, you can increase the blood flow. You can do a peripheral neuropathy program where you use red LED lights. Now, there's a lot of red LED lights out there. Like sometimes they're on your car, and you can't put your foot up on the tail light of those red LED lights and expect to increase your blood flow because they are at different frequencies. And the frequency that you need to increase blood flow is 660 to 880 hertz. And that was discovered by NASA. LED lights reduce pain and sped up the healing process in humans, and it promoted new blood vessel growth and decreased healing time. So they do work, but they're usually expensive. Sometimes the home units can range a couple $1,000s. The HackleMed, which is electrical nerve device, and it has some improvement, but it is expensive. It's not covered by insurance, and so it does work, but there are better ways. You can purchase a rebuild or TENS unit. They can cost $600 or $700. They can give temporary relief. They sometimes work. It's another option that's out there, but we have something even better. You can try using a cold laser, and the price on the laser can be anywhere from $50 to $120 per treatment. Sometimes they'll do several treatments and give you a discount because it's not covered by insurance. And if you see this laser is a handheld laser, and then you have a big unit. Obviously, the handheld laser might cost a couple $1,000s, and then some of the bigger units can cost up to $60,000. So obviously, the bigger units are going to be more powerful. They're going to get better results. But the way that lasers work is they speed up the healing process and decrease inflammation. So it does give you some temporary improvement. And if your feet are killing you, you might want to try something like this. But we do have a better treatment for you. Vibration plate helps with the type C, the pain fibers, and it can give you some temporary relief. It vibrates and increases the blood flow like the LED lights and bring the nutrients there. They can be expensive also. Stem cell therapy works really well, but they are expensive. And exosomes, when the mesenchymal stem cell, which is the gold standard in stem cells, they exude exosomes, and they are healing cells, and they work pretty good for peripheral neuropathy. Both of those do, but they are expensive. They're not covered by insurance, and so there are better ways for you to do it that's going to cost you a lot less money. You can try the anti-inflammatory diet. There are certain foods that are inflammatory, and so when the nerves are inflamed, they're going to give you those symptoms because inflammation is a sign of damage. Any cell that's damaged anywhere in your body is going to be inflamed. And so because of that, if you have a diet that's high in inflammatory foods, it's going to make your situation worse. So you can go on an anti-inflammatory diet, avoid those foods. It's going to temporarily help you with the inflammation and the swelling, and it's going to help with some of the symptoms, but it is temporary because it's a very restrictive diet. It's difficult to maintain, especially around holiday time, but even the strictest and the most dedicated person sooner or later is going to want that hamburger on a bun. They're going to want a piece of cake. They're going to want a milkshake. And once you do it, it starts the inflammatory process all over again. So it is difficult to maintain. There's so many foods out there that are good. Like a lot of people like tomatoes, but tomatoes are inflammatory. You think you're eating a salad and you have tomatoes on it. That's why there's a whole list of inflammatory foods, and you can avoid those. But it's difficult to maintain, and we have a much easier way. All these treatments are successful. They're expensive, they're time-consuming, and it takes a lot of dedication on your part. So do you want a treatment option that is successful and covered by Medicare, insurance, Medicaid? We've got one for you. Introducing the amazing Synexus machine. It's a Neogen series. It is recently brought to the attention of the medical world, and it is very good for, it's actually an FDA cleared device for chronic pain and peripheral neuropathy. It is the #1 rated pain and circulatory treatment system. You probably haven't heard of it because most doctors don't know about it, and there aren't that many offices and clinics across the United States that have this machine, and we do, and our doctors and nurses are so excited because the results that we are getting are way better than what we thought they would. So anyway, if you imagine for a moment sleeping peacefully through the night, whether you have a problem in your neck, you can use Synexus for chronic neck pain. You can use Synexus for chronic shoulder pain, knee pain, hip pain, back pain. And so if any of those situations are stopping you from sleeping through the night, or if you're waking up in the middle of the night because you've got the neuropathy pain, the burning pain in your feet, just imagine sleeping through the night peacefully again. I mean, most people don't know how valuable sleep is until they can't sleep. How about walking around with confidence and feeling steady again? If you have numbness in the bottom of your feet, it affects the kinesthetic fibers, which are the nerve fibers that communicate where your feet are to your brain. And so when this is treated and it's improved, then you walk around with confidence and you don't have to worry about falling. How about taking trips? A lot of people say, we had this trip planned, and I just don't think I can go. My feet are hurting. It's not gonna be fun walking around. They get swollen, inflamed, and they hurt, and I just don't think I want to go on that trip. Or enjoying family outings. Sometimes at family outings, you have to park a ways away, and you have to walk. And if your feet hurt, or if you have numbness, you don't want to be embarrassed and fall in front of everybody. So wouldn't it be great to be able to take trips and go to the family outings again? And how about feeling like you're 10 years younger? This Synexus machine doesn't do anything to give you a facelift or make you look like you're younger or anything like that. But what it does is it makes you feel better. And so when you're fighting pain, even when you're sleeping, your brain can't get into that sleep mode where you regenerate and reinvigorate your brain and nervous system. So every day you wake up and you're tired and you're just not in a good mood and you're grumpy. If you've noticed, a lot of your friends aren't coming around anymore. Sometimes you're just not a lot of fun, and it's understandable. But people that don't know about peripheral neuropathy, they just don't understand. But when you get rid of these symptoms and you're feeling better, you're sleeping at night, and you wake up in the morning and you're invigorated and you got energy and you want to go do things you haven't been able to do in a year, that's what Synexus can do for you. So your simple next steps: reserve your spot. All you have to do is call our office and get your consultation. So one of the things that we do for the neuropathy patients is we do a telephone consultation because we want to save you time and money. We want to make sure that you're a candidate before you even come into the office. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a consultation over the phone, and we're going to evaluate to make sure that you are a candidate. So we'll ask you what your symptoms are, how they affect you, how long you've had them, all the treatments that you've tried. And then we have to ask you 3 really important questions that can disqualify you from treatment. There are 3 medical situations that we have to ask you about to make sure that you don't have those. Because if you do have those, you're not going to be a candidate. So that way you don't waste your time and money coming to the office. If everything looks good, like you're a candidate, then what we'll do is we'll have you come into the office and we'll evaluate you. We'll actually do a test that's going to let us know if your nerve fibers are still viable or if they're too far gone. And if they are, we'll let you know that you're a candidate. If they aren't, then we'll say, I'm sorry, the nerves are too far gone and they can't regenerate. But anyway, you can call our office at 481-2772 or visit our website at footpaintulsa.com. And remember, don't wait. Neuropathy is progressive and it gets worse over time. So anyway, we look forward to seeing the office. Give our office a call and let's see if you're a candidate, and we'll set you up on a program to get you start feeling good again. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon, and hopefully we'll see you in the office.